Greetings, Star Trek Fleet Commanders. I am the Angry Rhino. So, the latest part of the Voyager, the arc, I guess, part 2, ended a few days ago. So, we are in our weekly cool down in between the arcs. So, what do we usually do? We talk about it. Checking my notepad here. I start with officers, so that's why I have this loaded up. I think all the officers are good. Janeway, you see me demonstrate her abilities. I think they're good. Paris, his below deck ability looks really good, provided you can stack the defense below, but does allow you to get the mitigation officer off the bridge if you choose. Now, his officer ability, did I say mitigation was his below deck or officer ability? Oh crap. Below deck ability is a mitigation, and that's what you can potentially get off the bridge. His officer ability works a lot like the new version of Beverly. You take a hit, you get increased crit damage, which is very beneficial when a lot of these hostiles are shooting you with multiple weapons. Fortunately, I cannot test him out to see if he actually is good because the sourcing was not good for the officer. Going on to Harry Kim, very similar. His below deck ability does look good to some people. I don't necessarily use morale in PvP, not PvP, PvE anymore. I don't know that I necessarily ever use it against hostiles, but I have on occasion used it in an armada, but that was a while ago. I think if you're still running an Enterprise, he can be very good for you below decks. Officer ability, increased reputation gain. It doesn't seem like a whole lot to me. 7% isn't that big of a jump. There are other researches and fleet commander abilities that'll get you more. So, excuse me. And just like Paris, where's the sourcing? You buy a $20 battle pass, are you going to get one of the rares? No. As you can see, 12 for Kim, 18 for Paris. I got 30 total. Could I have gotten more if I'd have bought in some tickets and done some more ticket events? Sure, wouldn't have gotten that much more. So I'm not a huge fan of that. I understand buying a $20 battle pass or just throughout events in the month in general, not just giving players an epic officer for participation. One or all of the rares, yes, I think they should. You participate in a whole month, you can't get one rare officer unlocked. Now, I guess technically you could have. You would have had to give up 50 Voyager blueprints to do it. Not sure that's a very good choice to give players. I think we should have had both. But it's just me. I do like the way that they sourced Janeway, the heroic milestones, or the milestones that usually accompany a auction event in general were amplified. Yes, they were labeled heroic, but you knew going in how much you had to spend and how much you were going to get to supplement whatever you would get in a leaderboard or events, missions, what have you. That's very good. I mean, with the 5 milestone, yes, they were heroic. You could get 100 shards. Yeah, now you had to spend 50 million in points, which is a lot. It's a lot for some people. And I'm not saying it's not a lot even for people like me. But you get the officer. And as you can see, I am 35 shards away from tier 2. So while the sourcing for the rare officers was very bad, the sourcing for the epic was good because you got more opportunities to get her. You weren't just given her, you had to earn her, which is fine for the epic. For the rare, no. Sorry, players got to get at least one rare for free. And no, I don't count the Lobot crystals because it was either 50 blueprints for Voyager or 50 Harry Kim shards. If it was 50 Paris shards, I might have gone with Paris. But the sourcing for the rare officers has to be bigger. Especially since what we see recently out of these overlords is if there's no immediate sourcing created in the arc, like say with the Formation Armada loop or the Voyager ship loop, when do we see sourcing for the officers? We don't. Strange New Worlds had the Mantis. Discovery had their little weird recruit pool based on the anomalous event, which still runs today. Deep Space Nine had the Jem'Hadar solo armadas. Don't know where the Picard arc and the Voyager arc officers are going to get sourced, if they even ever get sourced. Right now, it doesn't look like they ever will, and that's not a good thing. You can make the greatest officers in the world if you don't have any sourcing for them. As far as a free path, throughout the game, not just in that month, then who cares how good they are? Moving on to missions. All right, let me give it. I guess how I usually do that. Each section I usually give a thumbs up or down. Try to remember how I actually do this. So I'm going to go thumbs down for the officers. Without sourcing, it doesn't matter, like I said. Okay, now moving on to missions. Usually I don't have a lot to say about the missions. They're kind of like the trivia events. I like doing them. They are a staple. It would feel very weird without them. But this month, I gotta say, I'm unhappy with the rollout. Usually, in past months, within a few days of Arcfall, you go to your little... What the hell is the dumb thing even called? The holodeck. Yes, this building. You hit the little box here. Thing opens up, and they're in here somewhere, and you can claim all the missions. That's not how they did it this month. It was, you had one day, and then 3 days later you had another one, and then another 3 days later you had another one, and then so on and so forth until you got to the 6th iteration of the mission, and it was, here's the last 5. Well, I don't know if that was intended or if they got the feedback and decided to change it. But the problem is, you don't know when players are on. Yes, you hope players show up every day to play your game, but it's just unrealistic because you have no idea what people got going on. You have no idea. You don't even know if their internet is working. I mean, things happen and internet goes down and you can't even log on to the game. It happens. Random updates happen and terms of service aren't lining up and players on Macintosh devices can't log into the game. That's happened. So you kind of need to put them up, as far as my liking, put them up early and put them all up. Therefore, players have 2-3 weeks, however long, to go in there, collect them, and get them done. So, I'm going to say thumbs down on the missions. Events. I thought the payouts were very nice. I thought there was a very good balance as far as workload. Not feeling like there are too many events in one day. Now, it did happen on a few occasions, usually centered around Armada leaderboards, which is to be expected. We have Apex that ran 3 times. You had I don't even remember what they call it. It was, the Armada event where you got points for doing epics and rares and then solos and then formations. Happened a few times. I like events like that. For me anyway, I go in there and I do all my solos. Mostly because they score a lot of points. Secondly, because you can get all your credits there, hopefully for 2 or 3 weeks until they run the next event. So, yes, you may need or feel the need to be online for several hours in a day, but hopefully, at least in my case anyway, I don't have to go back and do solo armadas for a while. So there's that. Read my handwriting here. What do I got here? Of course, the PvP event. Or do I want to talk about Let's talk about the XSLB rewards. And the XSLB in general. Now, it wasn't labeled as an XSLB, and I'm talking about the 3rd iteration of the Janeway auction. It wasn't labeled as an XSLB, but those of us with the experience and have been around this type of situation before, we were fairly confident that it was going to be an XSLB because incursions would be coming. Now, I'm not necessarily disappointed in that because I figured it out was going to happen. It's okay if you don't like it. I know we hate XSLBs, but I think they increased the rewards of the XSLB this time because of the fancy new isolytic battle mechanic. They gave you some artifacts along with the Janeway shards. So, top 10, top 20 got at least 10, I think, of the Borg Queen remains. Yeah, you need like 100, but roughly the same amount of shards as an epic. Yeah. As in like Effet. I don't know. As an epic officer. They're kind of playing this up like it's going to be a big deal. So, having that many shards along with Janeway, I think is pretty good. Also, you had several pulls of the general isolytic pulls from your artifact gallery. So, while it was an X6LB, and because you have 2 servers competing for, that one top spot with a full unlock of Janeway, there were some other things rewarded there. So I thought that was good. Now, the PvP event. Try not to go too much into it because I have done a video about that already. Overall, that PvP event just sucked. Number one, the rewards were absolute trash. Like, whoever made this, and not necessarily who made the event, but whose decision it was to put those rewards there, that person is a jackass. Plain and simple. You create a PvP event where players are encouraged. Now, you didn't have to. You didn't have to go play for an hour and a half. But there's a leaderboard associated with it. I know a lot of players are going to be like, well, I want to go compete for the thing because it's a leaderboard. I want to go compete for it. And go compete for an hour and a half. And even if you won, what'd you get? A few pulls of that isolated bullshit artifacts and 7 of 11 as the officer? You're out of your damn mind, you jackass. Those rewards were trash, and you are trash because of it. What else I got about this stupid ass event? Can be hard to find targets. 1, because people didn't like it too much. 2, because it was galaxy-wide. So where are your targets going to be? Well, all over the place. Can be kind of difficult to go to this system, then go to that system, then go to that system, then go to this. Can be kind of hard. Plus, people know the PvP event is up, and they'll just turtle up. The rewards suck. They don't even want to participate. The flash style. And more specifically, the timing of it. As I mentioned before, they did try something like this during the Discovery arc. We don't really like it. Now, it was better as in you could pick when you wanted to participate in this, and you didn't have to feel pressured to be on every single hour for like 20 minutes. That's what it was in Discovery, and it was kind of miserable. We did it to ourselves, kind of, but you know. The timing of the Flash events, I wasn't a huge fan of. What was it? 1 p.m., and this is Eastern Standard Time. 1 p.m., then 7 p.m., then 1 a.m., and then 7 a.m. I understand the logic there. I think an improvement, if you want to keep doing this event, and I'm sure they will want to, is maybe have more. Because you only had 4 possible times a player could join. Now, I think you should reduce the time from an hour and a half to maybe a half hour. But I did like that it was, you can only go in there one time and do this PvP event. So you don't feel pressured to be on all the time. You can pick your hour and a half portion or your however long you were going to spend doing the event. You could pick when it was. Kinda. Because you only had 4 times to pick from during a 24-hour period. So I would have liked maybe 6 or 12, maybe 8 different time frames so people can go pick and choose when they wanted to do it. And I have already said before in this video, you don't know what people's schedules are. You have no idea. You may think that, 1 p.m. and 1 a.m. and 7 p.m. and 7 a.m. could encompass all your players and all their schedules. But there's no way that you could know that. There's absolutely no way. We have no idea when people are available. People got all kind of stuff going on. So giving them more opportunities to join an event like that, I think would be better. Reducing the amount of time that they would have to be on there competing in a leaderboard would also be better. Yes, I get you tried something, but at the same time, Obviously, that would have been a better way to go. However, that being said, and I know I just trashed the PvP event again, I don't think that can bring down the events. So I'm going to say thumbs up for the events. And largely it was because I thought there was an improvement to the balance and increased rewards for the auction events in general and the XSLB event. All right, what's next? Feature. Now there's really two features here. Right, there's this isolytic battle mechanic, which it looks like it might be okay, but at the same time, it isn't complete. That's part of the problem. I'm going to go right off the bat and say, right here, neutral, because it's incomplete. I'm not going to say thumbs down on a thing that is incomplete. And I'm not going to give it a thumbs up because I'm not 100% sure it's going to be good. Voyager. New ship, new loop. New hostiles to kill, new systems to go into, new nodes to mine. Yes. Seems very complicated. Very complicated. Go kill this hostile to get this reward. Go refine those rewards. Get such token or activation key. Use those tokens or activation keys to go kill more hostiles. Go get that hostile loot and then refine again. Yeah, that sounds annoying. Really does. And part of it is I can't exactly test this. Yeah, I'm not that big of a content creator, so I wasn't gifted a Voyager. And that's another thing. I'll talk about the sourcing. It's tough because there is immediate sourcing for Voyager, free to play. You can immediately source it right now. It will take 100 days, but that's not too long. And because of the way they did the little Lobot crystals, you could get 50 blueprints already. I mean, you had to play 20 days in a large bucket event that lasted 20 days, but 50 blueprints. So now it only takes 50 days. The downside is you had to pick between the 50 blueprints and a rare officer, and I don't really like that. I think we should have gotten both. That is just me. I don't know how to grade Voyager. I don't. Part of it is I don't have it. So, again, can I give it a thumbs up? Well, I don't really know how it goes. So, I'm going to say, again, even. Now, I have miscellaneous here, and that is more the glitching early in the arc, the game hijacking your ships and sending them to an idle state, idle and unusable state. Can't send no armadas, can't go kill hostiles, can't do anything. Now, it would eventually clear itself up. It's not like it permanently took control of them. It's very annoying. And in certain times, the game was unplayable. Depending on what you were doing. If you want to go use your ship, well, you may not have been able to use your ship. And the communication about it. Well, thank God we have good content creators. Rev Deuce did tell the community, or at least he put out an announcement, that the overlords are aware that it is a problem and they are working on a solution. I'm going to say not very little, no acknowledgement by game design that their game was broken. So, however, I mean that's bad. That's bad. Bad communication. Your game's messed up. You're not even talking to players. Okay. It was early. I guess he spent a long time trying to do the thing, and then all of a sudden here it is, and it's broken, and you were kind of, you're drained. You want to go take a nap because you were just working so hard to get the arc out, I guess. Or you're working hard to improve Voyager, the ship loop itself, which is very bad, which they have already acknowledged that loop isn't that good and have made some improvements. So let's recap. Officers, thumbs down. Sourcing's terrible. Missions, thumbs down. I don't like the way they rolled them out. I'll give the events a thumbs up. I think the events were good. Feature, I think a lot of it is incomplete. Either you don't have the ship or, Isolytic isn't even ready yet. Miscellaneous, game glitching, communication, thumbs down, I thought. I mean, we had a point where the game was unplayable in certain aspects and we received no communication about it. That's a bad thing. So, I mean, all in all, I think as good as I think the events were, I don't think it saved this arc. I don't. Maybe if I could have given the feature a thumbs up, maybe it could have. But I got to give the arc a thumb down. Thumbs down. I'll give it 2 thumbs down. Because that's my thing. No, I'm not going to give 2 middle fingers up. No. That's not this episode. Alright. That was the summary. So, let's send this video away. Comment below. What did you think of this past month's arc? Voyager Part 2. Did you get Voyager the ship? What do you think of the loop? Any advice for people out there that may be unlocking Voyager in 20-ish days? Be sure to like and subscribe. I am the Angry Rhino. Shields up, Commanders.